all. So this is YshopYPG, and this is a new purchasing platform that we've rolled out this year, which allows you to come in and source, and if you so choose, make purchases from the vendors that are available to you here on the platform. I'll go ahead and just put the login in the chat. And then when you come to this page, your username will be your work email address. The very first time that you do go to log in, just click the forgot your password link here at the bottom, and then follow those steps to set up your password and get into the platform. And then once you do that, there's one other really important kind of just housekeeping item before you start making any purchases. Okay. You're going to want to hover over your name, go to your profile, go to addresses, and then from here, you're going to set the location that you order to most often. Okay. So if it is camp, for instance, or whatever it may be, select that location. You're going to do the same thing for the billing address. Now, the billing address will be just one location, but this will pre-fill your billing address on your checkout screen. So it's just more efficient, saves you a little bit of time if you go ahead and set that. Once you have those set, you'll click Update Addresses and then go from there. Once you've logged in, once you've set your addresses, from there, on your homepage, a couple things we'll touch on real quick. So first, you have the scrolling bar here. There'll be messages there about any vendor specials, seasonal things, kind of linked flyers on promotions that they are running. But also, you have your YPG vendor list. And every time I'm on my home computer, y'all, and so it makes me do this every time. But if you're ever curious about what vendors we work with, is it somebody that you're working with that you don't see on your vendor dashboard? You can always check here and see, for instance, for facilities, kind of what vendors we do work with in that space. All right. Now, if you don't see that vendor on your dashboard, you can actually request to have them added. So there's some quick links here underneath the categories. And there's the request a supplier. If you ever need to ask a question after training and you're like, I forgot how to put in my account code, for instance, you can come here and click on the need assistance, and this is going to submit a support request to us at YPG. Now, don't worry about this. It pre-fills your information, so this is just me as the user pre-filling that. And then once you submit that ticket, it comes right to us at YPG. Now, other thing here that's really important is this marketplace guide. So this is like a FAQ kind of for you all. And again, so if you're not quite sure how to reset your password or something of that nature, you can always come here and use this as that little self-help guide. All right. Now, looking on the left-hand side, you have a ton of different kind of categories. So again, if you want to look at suppliers just in a certain category, you can click on that, and it's only going to bring up the suppliers in that category. All right. So now getting into the vendor dashboard, if you click on all suppliers on the left-hand side of your screen, it's going to bring up all the different vendors that you have access to. Your view is going to be a little bit different than mine, where, excuse me, I'm trying to get it over a little cold. But this is where you can then come in to access those vendors. So a couple different ways to be able to grab products from that vendor. You'll see these icons on the bottom of the vendor tile themselves. And these indicate the different ways that you can access that supplier and their goods. So a globe is going to take you to that vendor's website. And from there, you can shop on their website, grab products, add them to a cart, and then bring them back into YshopYPG. So for instance, if we want to get a new filter, we can just add this to our cart. We want to look at like copy paper. You can search and add these to your cart as well. Let's get this. And then when you're ready to check out, the different vendors will have that listed slightly different on their website. Amazon is really the only one that's kind of confusing. There's no approval happening in Amazon, okay? All of those approvals are now going to take place on YshopYPG. Now, whatever payment method you have selected is going to be pre-populated for you there. Yeah, just don't let me forget that before we get off the call. But now, a couple things real quick. If you forget to set your default address in YshopYPG, you're going to see a delivering address here to a location in Maryland, okay? Now, that's because that is the default address that the system has just attached to the entire system. Now, there's two things. Number one, shame on you, you forgot to set your default password. Number two, it does not matter that that shows Maryland specifically for Amazon. Amazon is going to read the address that you select from within YshopYPG, okay? But most vendors, that default address is how they know who you are and attach you to the right account. So that's why it's super important. Go ahead and set your default address. Now, when we submit this, it's going to transfer these items back into my YshopYPG cart. And from here, you'll see already, if you're not on Prime, you might see that there'll be a shipping fee here. So make sure that when you're checking out on Amazon, if you are on Prime, you're selecting that free delivery. Okay, that's also really important. Now, you'll see that you cannot adjust the quantities when you transfer these items back in. So just best practice before you submit your cart, just make sure you have everything that you need and then submit it. If you forgot something, go ahead and submit this cart and then come back to Amazon, get the products that you forgot and submit that as a separate cart. Okay. But now that we're back in YshopYPG, you can continue to shop and you can add as many items to this cart as you like from as many vendors as you like. And so if you need to get to another vendor's website, you can click this drop down of supplier stores. And this is going to take you directly to any one of these other vendors' websites. So if we want to, grab t-shirts from Core Products, you can at least come in and look for those t-shirts. Bless you. T-shirts. Now, in this example, I'm on a vendor's website and I'm looking around and I'm like, hey, you know what? I know that there's cheaper pricing somewhere else. You don't have to grab anything to then come back into YshopYPG. What if you're not going to add things to your cart and then transfer it back, you can always right click on your back browser button and then just go to the YshopYPG page, and it'll bring you right back into your page there. Okay. Oh, I did the wrong one. But anyways, so now from here, now you can also search for products. So there's a couple different ways to do that. If you see this eyeglass icon on the vendor's tile, that means that you can search their product right from within YshopYPG. So a couple things. If you click on that and then click search a second time, it's going to bring you into their like entire catalog. And then from here, you know, you can say like this is a fitness provider. So if you want to look for like yoga mats, you can search for the product that you're looking for here within. Now, if you're looking for a particular length or something like that, you can add details to this. Now, if it doesn't find that product, it means it doesn't exist in that catalog. But let's look and see if they have like a 72-inch. Yeah. So here they have like these 72-inch yoga mats. From here, you know, we can add a couple of these products to our cart. If you want to compare things side by side, you can actually come in and check a couple of these items and then compare them side by side. Maybe the density is a little bit different or something like that, but make sure you're getting the product that you're actually looking for. And then from here, you can also just add these to your cart. And continue shopping. Now, going back to that, any one of these suppliers that has that search icon, you can actually now compare products against other suppliers. So if we're going back to that yoga mats example, this starts to become more like a Google search where you can see here there's Office Depot, Staples, Best Price Product, whatever. All these different vendors here, they all have something that triggered that yoga mat keyword search. And then from here, you can really start to look at comparing pricing across multiple suppliers here in one place. Highly recommend if you're looking for something in the platform, just start here with this search. You can type in whatever you're looking for. And for instance, I'm going to go back to Amazon. So let's do copy paper. So Amazon products are not going to show up here in YshopYPG. And if you remember, it's because they only have that globe on their vendor icon. So if you're trying to search for Amazon, you have to go to their website. But this is a good place to come in and start, and you can at least look to see how this pricing compares. And for instance, we know Amazon sells a 10 ream case of paper. It's around $44 for that 10 ream case. But Staples here has that same 10 ream case and it's $37 per case. So you know that you can come in and grab the Staples copy paper and cheaper than Amazon. But if you can't find what you're looking for, then you can still just click the globe and then go to Amazon and grab what you need. So Amazon is great as that backup supplier. They have basically everything you could ever want, but because they are their own marketplace, pricing fluctuates and they do not always have the best price. So just as a guide, search in that global bar, look for it, and if you can't find it, okay, cool, go to Amazon, let the big man win. But we've negotiated this pricing based on what you guys normally buy. And so there's all these other suppliers out here that you might not even know you have access to that have better pricing. So just search up here first. And same thing, like, you know, for instance, dumbbells. You can come in and now, like, you know, compare all of our dumbbell pricing across all the other suppliers. And I probably spelled this wrong. And like, you know, if you're looking for a dumbbell rack versus like a particular weight set, again, you can use that search from within to then help filter that search down. So now you're looking at, you know, these 25-pound dumbbells across all these different suppliers. If you want to look again, you know, like tag versus power systems, again, you can compare those. But what's cool about any one of these products that you can search from within the platform is you also have the ability to create or add to any existing shopping list. So if you want to create a shopping list from a particular item, you know, you just click the little drop down to the right of add to cart. You can title it, you know, Fargo dumbbells. Right, create that list. You can now share this with anybody else inside of your association. And then from here, you can go right back into your shopping lists. And then you can order from that shopping list. Now you can add the whole thing to your cart. If you needed to get into the list itself, and let's say, you know, you need 10 of these instead of just one, you can update the quantity and then add this to your cart. This is a great way to have like some pre-approved items that you know you buy on a regular basis and come in and just order right from here. Janitorial products, paper supplies, things of that nature. You know, if you're shutting down like a pool and you have a list of product that you need to shut down the pool, you know, on a seasonal level, like this is another great way to be able to come in and just quickly reorder from some sort of list that you have created. If you ever need help creating these lists, that's where YPG can come in and help you out. Also, like for instance, on Granger, if you have a list on Granger, you can actually export that, and then you can import that Granger list so that it lives here, and it saves you clicks so that you don't have to go to Granger and then order off that list anymore. You can just do it right from within here. And it even gives you like a quick little demonstration on how to do an import. And it's super easy. It's just a 2-column list with the item number and then the quantity. And then from there, you grab the supplier's name, add it to the list, name it whatever you like, and share it with whoever you like. So real simple. Try to make this as easy as possible for you all to then, again, like I said, just less clicks, more efficient. Okay. So let's grab some more paper. All right. So we got some product in our cart and we're ready to check out. So again, any one of those products that you do search from within YshopYPG, it does allow you to edit those quantities and whatnot. But those products that you have to go to the vendor's website, remember, you can't adjust those. Now, if you need to remove something from your cart, you can always remove the items. But that's just, you know, if you're just wanting to remove them themselves. But once we go to checkout, it's going to do a quick little search, make sure the prices is correct. And then it's going to do another search and look to see if there's any cheaper product out there for you from that, from the offerings of any one of those searchable catalogs. Now, the more you use this, the better this gets at suggesting those products for your YMCA specifically. So this is based on your buying habits. So you'll see if the item is already in your cart, it's saying that it's there. But just in case, if you ever want to look, you can look to see what else is out there. Okay. Now that we're ready to go forward because we have the best items in our product, you just go ahead and click continue. And it will not let you make a payment method with a supplier that doesn't support it. Even though Amazon absolutely supports credit cards, you don't need, it's stored on Amazon's website. So you don't need to put your credit card in twice. So that's in this system. Even though you're using credit cards, you're going to submit Amazon orders as a purchase order. Okay. That's all that screen is saying is like Amazon doesn't support credit cards, but it's just for saving you all time because you don't need to put your credit card in twice. Okay. But when we get to the checkout screen, this is where those default addresses are going to pre-populate for you. And again, just save you time. So go ahead and set those on your user profile. But knowing that you have a ton of locations, if you need to ship to another location, you would just click browse here. And this is where you could grab the location that you need to ship this product to. Now, it's really important to note, although we have product from 3 different vendors here, I can't send Amazon product to Fargo and this best price to Fergus Falls. Like, you cannot split a cart into different locations. All right. But from here, what we can do is now start to code our requests. So this is probably similar to maybe what you have set up in Amazon, where you can code the entire request. All you do is start typing in the code and it will pre-populate for you. And it will not let you put something in that does not exist. So you can't free-form that account code field. Now, if you don't know your account codes by number, that's okay, because you'll have it to be the ability to search by name. So if we're looking for like office supplies, I can just type in office real quick, and then I can come in and grab the office supplies account code to then apply that to the order. Now, this is how
I'm just going to jump in real quick here. So for that account code, all of our Wise account codes are already in there. So if you are department, buildings and grounds, and you're looking for office supplies, the entire string is there for you to search for. And so you should be able to find that. The other thing with a purchase order, that would still mean that like Eric is eventually paying for the purchase order. And so that's where that account coding is going to be very helpful, because you won't need to send the papers to him with the handwritten code. It'll just all be on YPG. For credit card purchases, anytime that you're able to use your credit card and check out, we would still want you to use your credit card to check out. And in those situations, the account coding doesn't matter at all. We're still going to leave our credit card, travel bank as is, and that is where the coding actually matters, is in travel bank. So this basically is the purchase orders rather than handwritten purchase orders that go to Eric. This has purchase orders along with the spot to put your code.
Cool. Thank you, Heather.
Yep.
And yeah, it's let's go through this real quick, and then we'll come back to that, and I'll show you like a credit card purchase too. But you do see here where the whole string is attached to your account. So if you were to come in and on that, if we were in our cart, but we search by this account code name, and work with me here as we're in our shopping cart, we're checking out, we're going to apply an account code. You type in admin buildings expense, that building expense is going to pop up here for you. Okay. We must have had that one in twice.
No, it's the
okay, I see it. The
Fergus
150. Yeah. So then you'll see, if one's for a different branch by the different string here. Okay. So going back to our cart real quick. once you've coded your order and once you're ready to submit it, now we do have some approvals in place for you all. Most of your approvals are kind of high. So the transactions typically on this platform average around $200. So most of you, when you order, your order is going to go right through. But let's say this order was over $6,000. When you go to place this order, it's going to go to your approver within that approval track. Okay. So you will immediately kind of see like, hey, I've placed this order and it's waiting for, this is my boss, for her approval. Jody gets an email right away where she can approve, deny, or view that order from her email. Let me just show you a quick example of what that looks like for the approvers on the call.
Heather, did we have those approval limits set to the monthly P card limits?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So basically with YPG, we couldn't set it to a monthly spend. It's a single purchase spend limit. So you probably won't run into a limit on YPG unless you're going way above what you normally order. So this will be just like with the P cards, it's something that we approve after the fact.
Yeah, and that exactly, good call. And that's kind of why those limits are so high. But just for those approvers on the call, if any one of those like triggers do get hit, you would get an email, and it's going to come from info@YshopYPG.info. But from that order, you can actually approve, deny it. You can view the request. You can do this from your phone. You don't have to be at your desktop. So it really does allow for that to kind of, very easily come in, see the entire order, and then make a decision based on, what your needs are. But I do just like to show that just so you have an idea of what that looks like. So we'll go and get rid of this. Now for the requesters, once that order has been approved, you'll also get another email saying that your order has been approved. And then from there, you can always come in and view your own orders from this requisitions tab at the top. So if you click on requisitions, now, because I'm an approver, I can see anybody's orders that I have also approved. But you all who are just purchasers, you would only see your own orders here. Now, these are all your requests that you've created. Once they've been approved, that's when you can come to your orders and then see all your orders from here, okay? Now, I'll kind of take a quick pause. Anybody have any questions about, going to a vendor's website, transferring items, searching for items, or placing an order via a purchase order? Cool. All right, great. So now real quick, let's grab some copy paper. And we're gonna add this to our cart. Let's go Office Depot. All right. So Office Depot allows for either payment method on the platform to be selected. Now the system will default to kind of like however you placed your last order, so that it'll select that for you. But if I wanted to pay by card, then I would just select card here. I have it already added from my user profile. You have the ability to save cards on your user profile. And then from here, like Heather said, this field is not required. So you don't have to put in that account code on the credit card purchase. And then you would just go ahead and place the order. Okay. So real simple, real straightforward. And I guess I should have probably touched on that, but from your profile, you have your credit cards, and then from here you can add them in. Okay. So kind of same thing, but just real quick, any questions about credit card purchases versus POs? All right. Now, and Heather, maybe we should also kind of talk about this, but we do have the ability to build a rule around the invoices that come into the system. So for instance, like River Crossing here, they have a rule where if an invoice comes into the system and it has not been coded, that it triggers this like hold that invoice. And then the AP team has the ability to then come in and add the account code to the invoice before then pulling the invoice out of the system. So if that's something that Heather, you think would be beneficial, we'll talk about that afterwards. But your invoices will now come into the system and have that account code already applied to it. And that's the benefit of adding those account codes to the purchase request when you're placing it on a PO. And so it helps AP know, where this is going. You don't have to print something and handwrite it and then send it back to somebody. It's supposed to try to make your life easier. But we're always here for feedback. And so, please, like, once you get into the system and you start using it, submit those support requests and we're happy to jump on and make tweaks, or help you out with anything that you may have questions about. All right. So now there's one other way to kind of place orders on this platform. And this is for vendors that work in more of like services, kind of project driven quotes and pricing. So if you ever have like a really large fitness purchase, or if you're doing like a renovation to a gym floor or anything like that, bathrooms, lobbies, but you have a large purchase coming up, you have the ability to submit what we call a request for quote. Maybe some people call it like a request for pricing. But the little PDF icon on the vendor tile is what indicates vendors who support those quote requests. Now, you also have quotes here at the top. So if you come into quotes and you click on a new request, and if we're looking at, and I'm gonna make this up, but like flooring, title it whatever you want. You can set like a delivery date. So if we want new floor for our gymnasium by April 8th, but we want the vendors to respond to this quote by February 1st, you can kind of set those dates. Now you can come into the different vendors and you'll see all of them that work with the request for quotes. But if you just want to go to like, flooring, and so you could come in and look at like gym equipment. You can look at like lobby. The building materials, you can now select all of them. And then now you have 4 different vendors here that are going to work against each other to win your business. Now you can add items to this quote request. You can set the unit of measure, add any product description or detail. But also, if you have like a file created of what you're looking to use, you can always just attach that file instead of manually going in and putting in the items. Now, I think where this becomes really impactful is with like a fitness equipment purchase, like accessories, thing of that nature. You know, if you know you got a bunch of treadmills that you're going to go buy, add them here. Send them to all 11 of our fitness providers here. They can work against one another to win your business. When that quote comes in to the platform, you can actually go into your quotes and then take that quote request and flip it into a purchase order. So for instance, let me go to one of these here. So here's a quote request for, you know, all these different items. And if any one of these do win your business, all you would do is select the ones that you actually want, and then you can add them to your cart right from here, and then submit that on. So it's a great way to be able to cherry pick, especially if we're looking at like accessories where, you know, maybe you get dumbbells from Life Fitness, but then you get kettlebells from Matrix or something of that nature. But you can really truly pick best pricing and then go from there. And it's a great way to contain it all in one spot. So any questions about the quotes? Right. Awesome. Well, y'all, I think that's about it for the platform and placing orders and navigating. You know, I will add this. There might be some suppliers on here that you're not familiar with, but like if you ever are curious about like what they do, you can always click on the tile itself and it will bring up like all the different categories that they're involved in, kind of what the vendor does, and then any benefits to being on our contract, but also contact information. If you ever need to work with the vendor on, you know, your product was damaged when it got delivered, you can reach right out to the national accounts manager and they're going to work with you to get all of that corrected. Again, you can always come to us at YPG. We'll advocate on your behalf and work with the vendors too. But you know, when it comes to something like a bad delivery, it has nothing to do with the platform, has nothing to do with ordering, you know, online versus calling or whatever. It's just the delivery guy messed it up, and sometimes that happens. But we will help work with you to make sure that it's all correct. So. I know that we got a little bit of time left over, but usually with big groups, people don't like asking questions. So if something comes to mind afterwards, by all means, reach out and I'm happy to work with you one-on-one. Okay. So, Heather, anything else?
I know there was a question on setting the default address. It looked like the Fergus Falls address wasn't able to be set as a default. I'm not sure if that's something like they need to add an address or if that's something we need to do.
Let's look. Because it's not in there for some reason.
Weird.
Yeah. Let me add that one. So that's why you can't set it. We'll get that added right after this call. It'll be available for you to add today. And I apologize for that. I don't know how that got missed on the import. But we'll get that fixed. Thank you. Any other questions for you out there?
Was everyone able to get logged in and like see the platform? Did anyone have any issues with that?
I will confess, I had in-office issues, so I was behind. What's the password? Took great notes in the meantime.
Yeah. So here you can just click the forget password link there
Okay.
and follow those steps.
And I got an email throughout this that Andy's account, like I needed to unlock, I believe it was, or set to active. I think everyone else's accounts should be already set to active. Is that correct, Brian? That like once they log in, it should be active?
Yeah, I was going through the user list earlier, and it looked like there was 1 or 2 people that were not on that original import, and so I was starting to add some, and I might have missed one person.
Okay.
Now with that, I guess we can touch on that too. So if for some reason you cannot log in, you can always register. From there, you type in Northern Sky, put in your work email address, and then go ahead and register, and that will pull you into the platform. But then, like Heather, like you said, you'll get a notification, and then you will be able to add, the different vendors and everything to that person so that they can see all the suppliers that you see.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll probably need to still add that for you, Andy, if you're not able to see much yet.
Yeah, like I would imagine Andy's probably got a very limited view of what they can see.
Yeah, there's not much showing on mine.
Yeah. And so Andy, look, here, you want to share your screen real quick, Andy? Do you know how to do that?
Yep.
I hope so.
Let me just find the correct one because I have a lot open.
Yeah,
I know, I got it.
This one.
All right. And then click on all suppliers for me, please.
That's all I have.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. So this is great. So a couple things right here. So see the view that Andy has. This is that default vendor view. I hate it. I hate this list. Andy, on that gray filter bar to the right, you can toggle it to a grid view. And so this is kind of what I like. So for you all, when you first log in, if you prefer this view, you can toggle it to the grid view right there where Andy is. And then
Yeah, that makes sense that, yeah, you'd only have 8. I will get the rest of them added. We have 31 vendors right now that we're gonna give everyone access to all of it, so.
And let's see here. Stay right there for me, Andy. Andrew. All right. Okay, so and Andy, click Control R for me, please. Oh, I'm an idiot. Sorry. Do that one more time. So that will also be like when and this is not for everybody, but when you first, like brand new, somebody is registering to the platform, it'll be like what Andy did, where there'll only be a handful of suppliers. Heather can then go in and add the suppliers so that they see and I just did a quick one, but where you can then see all the rest of the vendors that are available for you. So when you guys have new hires and you want to give them access to the platform, you can just literally have them register themselves. Heather will get an email in the morning letting her know, and then she can go in there and grant them access to the right vendors. So it's a great way to be able to maintain your own staff and give people access to the platform. You literally have unlimited users. So anybody can join this platform that you'd like. And then Heather can then grant them permission or not based on, if they need it. But you also now, instead of having to give people logins to Amazon and Staples and Office Depot and Grainger and Home Depot, like you just have to give them a login to one place. And then from there, they can access your account with all of those other vendors. So it makes it a lot easier for user management when it comes to that. Now, starting in 2026, we're going to work with you to bring on your local vendors and get them added here as well, so that you can really come to one place to then, submit orders for all the product that you need. Cool. Heather, anything else?
Oh, yeah. I have a question. How many of these vendors do we get price discounts from as well?
So, I mean, truly, either through our contracts, YUSA contracts, all of these vendors here have some sort of specialized pricing for YMCAs. Now, again, you can kind of like, Andrew, 1 second. Let me add one more for you. We'll use this as an example. All right, click Control R for me again, please. And then on Office, the ODP, like a tile, just click on the logo. And so you'll be able to see any kind of contract benefits, like I said. And so like, for instance, with Office Depot, you get free next day delivery on any orders over $35. Like, that is something that they worked out with us at YPG, but then also we have items that are on contract pricing. Let me show you, and I'll steal the screen share 1 second, but let me kind of show you. There are different vendors that show that on their actual website. So let me go to Light Fitness real quick. Okay. And Andy, thanks for sharing your screen and doing that. So here on Life Fitness, like when you come into their website, you'll see now, again, remember, we work with 150 vendors. We don't get to control their businesses. So each vendor is going to kind of portray this information a different way. But I like the way that Life Fitness does it. Home Depot also does it like this, but where you can see like street price versus being a YPG member right here in real time. Now, I mean, the big savings with Life Fitness, obviously, if you were not a YPG member, but vendor by vendor, it is a little bit different how that's set up. So, if you ever have questions about that, though, you can always submit a support ticket, and we have a dedicated account manager for you all. who specializes in like our contracts, pricing, and vendor information. So just submit a support ticket, and then I think Lori Madden is her name, and she'll reach out to answer any questions you have about our programs. But good question, Eric. Thank you. Anybody else? All right. Just see what Home Depot looks like too. I know that's tiny. Yeah, so you'll see right here on Home Depot, like here's the street pricing versus our contract price. But yep. All right. Well, you all, thank you. Stay warm. Heather, if you'll hang out just for one more minute, and let's take care of that Amazon.
That sounds good. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Heather.
Yep.
Thank you.